paying attention. Now, some of us have got negative connotation with the word paying attention because at school, you're kind of looking out the window, just casually, just chilling out at the back. Pay attention, the teacher would say. Yeah? So, and there's a sense of, there's an effort about it, like, I was looking at the tree, I was looking at the sky or the birds, or looking at the boys playing, and suddenly I had to focus on what the teacher was saying. So there's a sense of it being quite a rigid thing. But when we talk about mindfulness, that looking out the window, looking at the trees and the birds and the sky, was actually an aspect of paying attention. You're actually giving your attention to something, whether it's nature or people, and you're, in a sense, focusing, which is another word that came up, okay? And there's a sense of gentleness about that. So in a way, that was paying attention. But it could also easily have been a sense of daydreaming. So you could have been sitting there at that window and you could have been wondering about, what it would be like in summer holidays, or if you weren't in this Latin lesson and you were actually doing something else, it would have been a lot more fun. So there could have been that too. So the second aspect of it is paying attention on purpose. So it actually involves a decision. So let's say if you're casually walking down the road or the street or something, and you happen to be paying attention to something, that's not really what mindfulness is about. There's a sense of being deliberate about it. Somebody mentioned that in deliberation. Okay? Well, there's something about being deliberate in the sense of wanting to pay attention to your experience. So mindfulness is about doing it on purpose, practicing on purpose. The third aspect, which kind of is covered in a lot of spiritual teachings, is the present moment. We had heard of a book called The Power of Now. Okay, so if you look around most of it, yeah. So, and the essence of that book and of Eckhart Tolle's teachings is about being in the present moment. And that was one of the, when I was on the spiritual path, that was one of the kind of really interesting and powerful books for me to read, which was all about the magic of actually coming to the present moment. Now, there's all sorts of different quotes and things I can say, but there's one classic quote. Yesterday is history, tomorrow is a mystery, but today is a gift, and that's why it's called the present. Okay? And there's all sorts of different kind of quotes like that to help us, encourage us to come into the present moment. But what's so special about this present moment? Why do so many different spiritual teachers talk about coming into the now, coming into the present moment? And quite often they do a lot of talking about it, and there isn't so much emphasis on the practice. Whereas with mindfulness, there is some talking about it too, but the emphasis is more on the daily practice and working out strategies for being able to be in the present moment more often. So why is it an important thing? Well, most of the time, majority of the time, because we've got this amazingly powerful brain, we've got more connections in the brain than there are stars in the universe. And there's a lot of stars. Each galaxy has got thousands of millions of stars, and there's thousands of millions of galaxies. So imagine how many stars are in the universe. And yet, there's more connections in our brain than there are stars in the universe. So obviously, there's going to be a lot of thoughts going on. And these thoughts can easily take our attention away from the here and now, the present moment. Okay? So there's two places that we go, two of our favourite places, which is the past and the future. Okay. Now, when we were young, as children, we didn't really have too much problems about being in the present moment. And I often refer to children or babies like mini Zen masters. Okay? If you take a little baby and you place them in the spoon, they'll be like, okay? It would be like eating a delicious chocolate or something. It'd be amazing. Their eyes would be wide open, they'd be gawping. Until you move them, they'll be like, yellow. Just anything simple like that would be just unbelievable. Right? Why? Because they're really fully in touch with the present moment. Just talking about this is reminding me of a story. I remember one of my friends, he had unfortunately had a car accident, and he was really, really kind of close to him dying because it was really critical. And ever since that moment, because he'd been, when he was about to have the accident, everything slowed down, everything went in slow motion, and he saw everything very much in the present moment. And I met up with him a few days later, and he was sitting in this restaurant with me, he was like,
And he was just like a little child. He was like, can't you see these lights? They just look amazing. Because he kind of been forced into the present moment. He was hyper alert. He had this like childlike tendency. And so there was this great gratitude and amazement of just being in the here and now. The problem is that as we grow up, when we go from children to becoming adults, one of the things that we assume to do is, don't worry about it, that's just a light bulb, stop looking at it, okay? Concentrate, pay attention to the lesson, we need to learn this, we need to do this, and so more and more knowledge gets built up. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but that's something that happens as part of the process. So if everyone, all the adults around you are emphasizing, the future or the past and not so much on the present moment, it's so easy to get caught up with that, and so our minds habitually go into the past and the future. And so this miracle, which we all experienced as young children, of just being in the present moment, kind of gets lost. So this is why I think a lot of spiritual teachers talk about coming back into the present moment, living a simple life, because if you stop going into the past and the future, which is so overemphasized for us, and come back into the beauty of the present moment. And when I say the beauty of the present moment, it's just the very simple things, like you're sitting there and you've got this amazing view there, you've got these beautiful candles, you've got the statue of Buddha, you've got the painting behind, and just something as simple as that. It could be like for example, I was driving on the motorway and there's a lot of traffic. It was very easy for people to be caught up with, I need to get here, and I'm not here on time, and if this happens. But actually, there is a miracle going on just above their heads. If they just open the sunroof or look out the window, you've got these amazing kind of fluffy clouds. You've got the blue sky, you've got the sun. There was a rainbow there too. I'm not sure if people noticed that or not. It's easy to miss that if you're not in the presence of the here and now, present moment. So there's a sense of the miraculous in the here and now, in the present moment. But just me talking about it, and just me mentioning it kind of to you, you think, yeah, okay, that's great. But because of all these habitual tendencies, as soon as we leave this door, it's immediately that the whole thing about future and past comes straight back in, and it's hard to get back into the present moment, which is why mindfulness is a certain practice. So that's why there's the emphasis on being in the present moment, because of that sense of miraculousness about it. Something to say that. I mean, a couple of other things that come to mind is that in the present moment there's also a sense of freedom. Okay? If we're locked into certain thoughts about the future, say if you've got some concerns or worries, those concerns and worries will keep going round and round and round in the mind. And although some of them may be helpful, a lot of them, if they continue to keep going round and round, actually drain our energy. The brain uses more energy than pretty much any other organ in the body. So if you've got lots and lots of these thoughts going round and round and round, by the end of the day you can end up shattered. Okay? And I think that's the reason why a lot of us feel very tired at the end of the day. It's not so much about the physical work we do, because the human body is designed to be able to do that quite easily. But this new part of our brain, which is much bigger than any other animal, it's kind of in overdrive. It's thinking so much. By coming into the present moment, you let go of all those worries, and you've got a bit more energy available. I was just reading yesterday, I was doing some research on relaxation, and they found out that the amount of oxygen you use after doing just 3 minutes of meditation goes down by 20%. Okay? So if you do 3 minutes of meditation, the amount of oxygen goes down 20%. Now the amount of oxygen you use is basically the amount of energy you're using. So basically you get into this relaxed state, your heart rate goes down, your blood pressure goes down, your breathing rate goes down, you get more relaxed, and so the amount of oxygen you need goes down by 20%. If you look at someone who's been sleeping for 5 hours, their oxygen level by that time goes down up to 8 to 10%. So the amount of rest you can get just from a few minutes of meditation is amazingly double what you achieve from even 5 hours of sleep. I was amazed by that. I would have thought that when you're in a rest state of sleep, you're not really
doing anything, you're not even there to a certain extent. And yet, the rest that you achieve from meditation is much deeper. And I think that's because if you can just have a go at just focusing your mind, even for a few minutes, all these thoughts that are going on, just calm down just a slight bit, and that makes a big difference to the amount of energy that you have available. So this is another benefit of being in the present moment. Okay? Now the next one I'd like to talk about is that this being in the present moment is all well and good, but it needs to have certain qualities about it. And these are the key qualities in mindfulness that we emphasize. And I think a lot of other spiritual teachers do in different words and in different ways. Now the reason for this is, for example, let's say that I was a thief, okay, and I was planning a robbery for a bank. Would I need to pay attention if I'm doing that? Yeah, sure, I would need to pay attention if I was going to be effective in doing that. But what's the motive? Is it a positive motive or a negative motive? It's a negative motive, isn't it? So if there's a sense of negativity about it, I would not call that a mindful bank robber. Okay. There's a sense of, there's a sense of he wants to get something out of it. There's no sense of kindness about it. Whereas the mindfulness that we're talking about has got a sense of compassion and kindness about it when you're paying attention. So